What's going on YouTube? UberMan here. Today I'm making a video kind of explaining why there haven't been a whole lot of videos coming up lately. Um, I really haven't done Uber much the last 2 weeks, and I can't really explain why other than I think there's a little bit of depression issues going on. I just haven't been feeling like really getting out there and doing anything. And some of it has to do with my personal life, and some of it also has to do with Uber. Um, like I said before, it's a close to a 2-hour drive for me to get from where I live up to Indianapolis. So it's a long, long drive for me. You're talking 2 hours to work, 2 hours home, on top of driving for around 12 hours or so. Um, I can't really explain it. There's definitely something going on. I don't really know exactly what it is. It's not something that I can just pinpoint. But maybe, just maybe, it's these little buttholes. Cat had kittens, and I think it's depressing me because they're starving for attention. And I cut myself with my fingernail playing with my kids. I'm just depressed. No, really though, on a serious note, get the fuck off of me. Um, on a serious note, there is some depression going on, and I honestly don't really know what it is. Um, I watched my arch nemesis, Guy Uber, just kidding, Mr. Ivan Vanity. I've been keeping an eye on his channel because I really was looking up to him for a while before he started dissing on Uber and then disappearing and then telling me that Uber was a scam, and then he came back like nothing happened, and now he's back with all kinds of good things to say about Uber again. Don't you hate that? When your phone goes off while you're making a video, I should turn the damn thing off. Honestly, I know I'm laughing and smiling and everything, but I think that's some kind of defense mechanism. This is really kind of a personal video, and honestly, you guys can talk shit if you want to. There's a lot of haters on there, and there's a lot of people on there that show support for me. This video is for me, guys. It's just a little way for me to vent, to get something out, because I really don't have I don't have a lot of people here, and I'm still in Indiana, obviously. As you can tell by the crappy room in this crappy house in this crappy town. I'm not used to living this way, guys. This is hard for me, and I think that's probably got something to do with it too. Um, for my daughter and her mother, who have lived in this house for years, they're quite happy with it, and it's a decent house. It is. There's nothing wrong with it. It's pretty good size. It's well over 1,800 square feet. Full basement. Central heat and air. It's a fenced-in yard, a garage. It's a decent house, but it's not what I'm used to, guys. I'm used to living in houses that, in a bad market could sell for $130,000, and it's hard for me. I know, poor, pitiful me, guys. I grew up. Poor is just an understatement. In fact, I grew up in worse than poverty. That's no joke. That is no joke. I grew up in a trailer. You think having no air conditioning is bad? Try not having any heat in the wintertime. Try not having any water. My stepdad would go out to empty trailers in the trailer park, and he would fill these 5-gallon buckets up with water so we could flush our toilets. We had fleas so bad, especially in the wintertime, that if you got out of bed, it was so cold. I can still feel it, man. I can still remember, getting out of bed and it just being so cold. And I would jump out of bed, have to go to the bathroom or something, and the fleas would cover my legs, and I mean almost literally the fleas were so bad. It's like we were getting eaten alive in our own home. Food. There were times that my mother, and let me tell you something about my mother, guys. She's a saint. She really is. She married my father, and she's a traditional type of saint. At least she used to be before the world jaded her. Um, really, before my father jaded her, he ran off with another family, um, ran off with another woman, I guess, and she ended up pregnant. And that's where I've got my siblings from, who I love very much. I do. I love my brother and I love my sister, and I even love my ex-stepmother. Um, really at the end of the day, I blame my father. I'm not even sure my stepmom knew that he was. I don't know. I don't know. My ex-stepmom, because she divorced him. Um, but anyway, you know, my dad in the early 80s had a $50,000 a year job in the Air Force, so we were living good. We were living good. New car, house, everything. My mom was so traditional. She'd never held a job. She never had a job before. She didn't know how to tie her shoes, so she wore those either slip-ons or Velcros. Um, she never had sex with anybody until she married my father, and you know, she was a good woman. She is a good woman, but honest to God, the world has just jaded her, and it's sad. It really is, guys. It's sad to see such a nice and innocent person just so torn up from what the world's done to her. But my mother, my saint of a mother, had to get a job. She worked at McDonald's for like 13 years. I swore I'd never work at McDonald's. Swore I never would. I remember there were times we had no food. She would actually bring home Danishes. She would sneak them in her purse from McDonald's and bring them home so that I would have something to eat for breakfast. We were poor. I mean, that's really the point. I'm sorry I'm dragging this out, and most of you probably could give a shit less about this video, but like I said, this is more for me. This is kind of like a vlog. We went as a kid, as a 5-year-old kid. I remember my dad coming home one day, and mom and dad started fighting, and he started yelling. And then I remember I didn't know what the word meant, but he said, "Dad said I'm getting a divorce. I want a divorce." And I remember my mom crying. My dad was very abusive, not to my mother, at least not to my knowledge, but he was extremely abusive to me. Very abusive to me. And he looked at me. I had this thing where when my mom cried, I would cry automatically. It didn't matter why. I was very close to my mother. We're still close, just not near as close as we used to be. I turned into a troubled teen, a very troubled teen. I got into a lot of trouble. I spent a lot of time in and out of jail and stealing cars. And as a kid, I did a lot. Even as an adult, I did my fair share of criminal activity. And I'm just lucky that I don't have a rap sheet. I'm very, very blessed that I'm able to do things like Uber. But my dad looked at me when my mom was crying. He looked at me and he told me that I was killing her. I don't think he remembers this, but I remember it. I remember it very clearly. He looked at me and he said, "This is your fault. This is your fault. Look what you've done. Your lies." He claims that my mother taught me how to lie. And because I was lying to him, he was divorcing my mom, and it was my fault. And he told me that every time she cries like this, you have killed a piece of her heart, and you are killing your mother. And that's just one example. When I say abused, I mean there was severe mental abuse, and there was severe physical abuse. There was I would have to clean my blood off of the walls before my stepmother got home. It was bad. It was pretty rough. Made me tie my brother up once with a big thick rope. I mean, real thick rope. Anyway, this isn't supposed to be a counseling session. I'm just trying to give you guys a background into UberMan. I worked hard, and I was determined I'd never be poor like that. I was also determined my kids would never have to live like that. Never, never. And I've been to counseling. I've gone to therapy. I've gone to anger management because there, until my early 20s, I was a very violent guy, especially towards women. And looking back today, I don't understand how I did the things I did. I don't understand how I was that person, but it's almost like that person's completely dead. I don't even know who that was. Um, I tried to get help. I went through a lot of therapy, and the anger management classes I think did more good for me than anything else. I just, I've never, I've never been able to stand a guy hitting a woman. Never. But even back then, I would hit a woman. But if I saw a dude hitting on a woman, I'd be the first one over there ready to knock him the fuck out. Hypocrite. And I guess that I probably still am somewhat of a hypocrite today. Um, anyway, guys, I'm no saint. Not even close. I have done a lot of horrible things in my life. I mean, I guess it depends on your definition of horrible. I've never killed anybody. I've never beaten anybody half to death. I've never beaten my children or abused them. But I've been a pretty bad guy as far as I'm concerned. I'm very disappointed in myself. Um, I've also been successful, and now I'm not. Here I am. And I think that's part of the problem. I grew up so poor, so broke. I mean, a black and white TV would have been considered a luxury. A car was a luxury. And I think back to those days, and I look at where I am, just even right now. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not happy where I am. I'm happy that I'm here, trying to help out. I mean, it's more than help out baby mama and my daughter. Uh, my last wife kind of tossed me and my son out on our asses in the middle of winter with nothing, for really no good reason. Um, I mean, she turned into a meth head. It's rough, dude. Really, my life, I could do hours and hours of video on my life. You have no idea. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people's been through a lot worse, okay? I'm not trying to downplay anybody else's problems. I'm just, this is my life, and these are my problems, and I'm just sharing them for really no good reason other than to just put them out there. Um, I mean, I loved my ex-wife with everything. I also hated her. It was a very complicated relationship. I loved her more than I've ever loved anybody else, and I also, in some ways, hated her more than I've hated anybody else from some of the things that she's done to me. When you love somebody that much, and they do some of the things that she did, cheating on me, that's nothing, guys. I got used to that. I really did. I got used to it. Um, it's something I learned to accept, even. I just accepted that that's what she was going to do, but I loved her anyway, and I wasn't going to leave her. She was getting arrested, and hey, I did my fair share of criminal activity, okay? So I wasn't going to judge her for that. I just wanted to be there for her and help her, and I got her out of jail every time. Every time I bailed her ass out, got her out, hired her the best lawyer. Um, for the most part, she got away with just about everything she's ever done. And she got into meth. And I'm not going to lie, guys, I loved her so much. I knew that I couldn't stay with her anymore. The kids were suffering, and she's got 3 kids of her own. I've got 1 kid of my own, my son, that I have custody of. We were together for about 10 years. I'm married for, I think, 7. And it was coming to a point where I knew that this couldn't work anymore. I took one last, I don't know, leap of faith. I thought, in my mind, if I went with her to do the meth, she didn't shoot it up. I'm terrified of needles. It's one of my big fears. I could never shoot up anything. But she didn't shoot up either. She smoked it, snorted it, ate it. I decided to go with her, and I thought maybe if she sees me doing this, she'll see me the way I see her. She'll be disgusted with it, and maybe it'll change her. So I went with her one night. Actually, I think it turned into about a day and a half. When you're on meth, it's kind of hard to keep track of time. Um, things just things just kind of blur together. It's not like a hallucinogen or anything. It's just things go fast. I mean, it's just like time's almost irrelevant. It's hard to explain, and different people have different reactions to it. I happen to be a lightweight, but I went with her one night, and we went out, and I mean, quite literally, she took me to a fucking crack house. I mean, a real crack house, like, and you know, to this day, I feel ashamed as hell of. And these people had little kids, toddlers, in diapers with no clothes on, just diapers running around their house. And there's people in there quite literally doing crack, smoking meth, they're dealing drugs. They've got fucking pit bulls caged up, like I guess they were breeding pit bull. I'm just like, what the fuck are you guys doing, man? You fucking kids. You know, I did it though. You know, we went back into a fucking room just like you see on TV, man. People just fucking laying there. I don't know, man. You know, it's fucking ridiculous. I was that person for a night. I was that fucking crackhead for a night, you know, and it's embarrassing, and I'm ashamed of it. But I just wanted to save her, man. There was no saving her. You know, if anything, it turned her on that I was doing that kind of shit with her. And, you know, we partied, and yeah, I guess we had a great time or whatever. She also got me to do ecstasy. I almost hate admitting it, but that's something I actually really enjoyed. I really had a good time with ecstasy. That woman took me down a road that I normally wouldn't ever have been on. I just followed her, you know, like a little lost puppy, kind of like a bitch. Yeah. And in the end, you know, this is where it ended up. It's complicated. Still love her. Can't lie about it. I do. Still love her. But that life is over. She's remarried to a 21-year-old. A kid that just got out of prison. He's on parole. She's into drugs, and he's into drugs, and he doesn't work, she works. It's just a bad situation, you know? So, there's the story with my ex-wife. And now I'm over here with baby mama. We have a daughter together. We have a son together. I have custody of my son. She has custody of my daughter. It is a very complicated situation. I don't want anybody to think I don't love her. I do. I love her to death. I really do. She's a great woman. We had a little rough spot here a couple weeks ago where she took some new medication to help her with depression. And it didn't go well. It got ugly, got real ugly. But she's off that medication. She's on a new medication now, and it's doing great. She's doing great. She really is. And we've had a pretty rough time. Not her and myself, but her and her family. They've made some threats, and you know, if she was ever going to crack, this would be the time. And she's not. She's staying together. She's keeping it together. She's doing really well. She's a great mother. She's done really well with my daughter. I was away for 7+ years without seeing my daughter, and same thing with her and my son. We just went separate ways. And she did wonderful with my daughter. She really did. We'll never say that she's been a bad mother. She's been a great mother. She got into a situation where she was about to kind of lose everything up here. And I was in Oklahoma, and I couldn't let that happen. You know, she's been on her own too long. She's a good woman. She doesn't deserve to end up with nothing. She just got in a rough spot, and it wasn't even her fault. It was nothing she did. It was her soon-to-be ex-husband just screwed her over pretty bad, even knowing she's got a kid. So I decided, since Uber is everywhere, you know, I could just leave Oklahoma. It wasn't really anything holding me down there, and I was going to come up here. And the whole purpose of me coming up here originally was just to keep her and my daughter from losing their house, from losing everything. And like I said, guys, I'm used to living a lot better. They're used to living in a place. For them, this is nice. For them, they're happy with this. I wish I could be. I really do. I wish I could look around and be satisfied with what I've got right now, but I can't lie, guys. I'm not. I'm satisfied with having my daughter in my life and having my kids with each other and trying to figure things out as parents. Baby mama and I, we're just trying to figure out what we are. She wants more, that she loves me more than anything. She said it several times that basically what I felt for my ex-wife is how she has always felt for me. But I've never had that same kind of feeling for her. And that's not fair to her. And I really hate it. I hate myself even for it. I really do. Because she deserves so much better than me. She really does. And for whatever reason, I don't know if I'm not allowing myself to feel those kinds of feelings for her. I don't know. I know I'm going to have to end this video soon because this is getting really, really long and drawn out, and chances are nobody's going to watch it anyway, but she's a good woman, and I hate myself for not being able to give her the one thing she really wants. And in the meantime, I'm sitting around here looking at this house just going, I don't think this house has been updated since the 1950s, man. I'm so superficial. I didn't used to be this way. I grew up so poor. I should be thankful that I have a car and a house, period. I should be thankful for that. But I'm not. I just want more. More, better, better. It's almost like it's like once you get a taste of having that money, especially when you come from nothing like me, man. When you come from the fucking dirt and you set out, you start your own business, I made it. For a while, I made it. I had everything. And I'm not rich, but come on, man, $130,000 a year is not bad. Especially for a fucking guy like me that came from shit. I would have never thought I'd have had a fucking Corvette. Trans Am LS1. I had some fun cars, man. New cars. I remember, hell, it wasn't more than 3 years ago, I was able to walk into a fucking car dealership. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't a fucking great car or anything, but I was able to walk into a Cadillac dealership that they also sold Kias. It was a weird Cadillac Kia dealership, You got your high-end luxury cars here and you fucking Kias over here. But I walked in this Cadillac dealership, and I was a cocky little shit, man, because I knew I'd been making this money for a little while. My credit was doing pretty good. I had a nice house. I rolled up in my Vet, and I walked in. I found this car on their website. I'd been looking for a little gas saver. I already had one. I had a 2010 Kia Forte sedan, but I didn't like the sedan. I found out that there was a coupe model, and I loved the coupe, spelled with a K. So I decided I was just going to see if I could do it. If I could get the car, I'd get it with no down payment. If I couldn't get it with no down payment, I was saying to hell with it, and I'd keep the sedan. Let me tell you something, guys. I walked in that dealership with no money. And I told them up front, I'm not putting any money down. And I didn't have some AAA credit score either, guys, okay? I was in the sixes, mid to high sixes, all right? So I didn't have, outstanding credit either. But let me tell you what they did. They reviewed my tax returns, my Schedule C's, and when they saw the kind of money I was bringing in, they pretty much turned a blind eye to the fact that I didn't have a perfect credit rating. They let me literally walk in that dealership. A few hours later, I walked out in a brand new fucking car. It was in 2012, I guess it was. It was a 2012 Kia Forte Coupe. I walked in, I signed a fucking paper, and I drove out in a brand new car. And it's all gone now, along with my credit rating. Credit rating's not even a 500. It's almost a 500. But you know, I made the mistake that a lot of people that end up just kind of jumping into having money make. I overextended myself in credit. I mean, I would have been fine had my business not collapsed from my wife becoming a meth head. And I can't put it all on her either, guys. I had probably just as much to do with the collapse of my business as she did. I like to blame her for it. It makes myself feel better. But at the end of the day, I was buried in paperwork. I was white collar. Okay, this was a good business, very lucrative, and overhead was minimum. There was no overhead. My overhead consisted of a fucking computer, and a printer, and the internet, and a cell phone, and a website. That's my overhead. Swear to God, there was no fucking overhead. It was a great business while it lasted, and it lasted for a while. I made fucking good money, man. Walked into a car dealership, walked out in a brand new car. Guy coming from 8 Mile. I would have never thought. I would have never looked. If I could picture myself as a little kid and picture me walking up to that little kid during the times I had that kind of money and being like, look, little dude, you're going to be all right, man. You know, you're going to be okay. Don't stress over it. You're going to have a Corvette. You're going to have a couple brand new cars sitting in the driveway. You're going to have a nice $130,000 house. I never believed it. Name brand clothes, shit. That's why I'm so fucking big on my Nauticas and stupid shit. It's not because I'm just some superficial asshole. It's because I remember going to school as a kid and seeing those kids with the nice shoes and name brand pants and the name brand shirts, and I remember just getting laughed at. I was a fucking joke. I was probably the dirtiest kid. We didn't have water. Dirtiest, smelliest, nastiest fucking kid, and if that wasn't bad enough, I was a fucking geek at heart, still am. I mean, my dad had me starting programming when I was like 4 years old in Basic Excel on an Atari. I'm still a geek today, just a much better looking, much cooler geek than I used to be. Yeah, I'm Star Wars, Star Trek. I'm a nerd and a tech geek. And I'm unsatisfied with my life. And it's hitting me. And Uber's hitting me. And I'm just not motivated so much anymore. I'm going to really push this week. I'm going to go out every fucking day this week, including today, Monday. I'm going to go out every day, and I'm going to go to work, and I'm going to see what I can do to try to prove to myself that things aren't that bad. But I keep looking at the fucking Uber map on the rider screen. Like, you know, you pull out your phone, open up your Uber app, right? Now, of course, here, there's not going to be shit because I live in the middle of nowhere. But what's really killing me, guys, is before I go to Indy, I sit there and look at this. This is Monday, guys. Monday. Look at that. It's fucking Monday. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's what's discouraging me. I look at this screen. I see all these Uber drivers out there. You think that's bad? Wait till Friday and Saturday night. And I just can't. I can't do it. I can't get motivated to drive all the way out there knowing that there's all these cars. And it's my own fault. I don't drive out there. I don't go to work. And my pays have been shit. You know, I see all those cars and I'm like, why bother? There's too many people out there. I'll never make any money. How can I compete when there's a million fucking drivers on the road? But I'm going to push this week, guys. I'm going to go out. I'm really going to push through it and try to get over this issue that I'm having and try to make something of this weekend. Or this week through this weekend. I'll report back and let you guys know how I'm doing. I guess that's about it, guys. I spoiled myself when I had all that money. You know, I really did. And when you come from nothing and you get a taste of having everything that you've really ever wanted, I've never had high expectations. Never expected to have a $1 million home or anything like that. My expectations are not high. But when you literally come from a trailer park and you're the nastiest, dirtiest, poorest kid in the trailer park, and you come up and you start a business, Guys, nobody started this business for me. I made this up myself. This came from my own mind. Once you get a taste of that, it's like the first time a dog gets a taste of blood. You know, there's no going back after that. It's vicious. It really is. I got a taste for that money, and now I'm trying. You know, I've got what's important to me, right? I got my kids, I got my family, my kid's mom even. I love her to death. And I'm working on that. I don't love her the way she wants me to love her. I'm trying. That bums me out because, I mean, she deserves it, and I don't know what's wrong with me. I should be completely happy and content here, and all I can do is look around and be like, I had so much stuff. You know, the fact is, guys, you're born alone. You're going to die alone, at least for the majority of us. You're going to die by yourself. And none of this shit matters. None of these possessions make a damn bit of difference. And that's kind of my other problem. I try to fill whatever void I have with possessions. I went out and bought this 60-inch TV about a week ago. I love it. It's a great TV. And you know, for a little while, it fills that void. That's like my drug, really. For a little while, that void is somewhat filled with the newest toy. When I built this $2,000 computer, filled that void for a little bit. Now, I really don't see a difference between this $2,000 computer and my piece of shit $500 laptop. You're going to die alone. You're not taking any of this shit with you. So at the end of the day, money and possessions really shouldn't matter, but for some reason I just can't get over it. I can't get over it. I miss my house. I miss my money. I miss my cars. That's it, guys. I'm done with this rant. I hope the rest of you out there are doing well. I really do. And Guy Uber, man, cheer up. I know that's the pot calling the kettle black, but he's got a video out that I watched, or it was, I don't know if it still is, but I watched it a few days ago, and honestly, I think it did nothing but bring me down even more. Because he's the same age as me. He's definitely got more money than me. He's living a lot better than me. But I think our paychecks are about on the same page. Him now compared to where I was just a few years ago. And he sees it too. It's kind of weird, a little bit creepy. But he sees it. He sees the same thing that I see. He's got a void in him somewhere. And he's coming to the realization that his money and his possessions aren't going to fix it. There's something else going on there, and I understand that for myself too. There's something else there. There's something missing. And until you figure out what it is and you fix it, I don't give a damn how much money you've got. You'll never be happy. Never. I'm not going to lie and say money doesn't make you happier, but money does not buy happiness. Not full, true, complete, honest to God happiness. That's something you got to find within yourself. And for me, I think I know what's missing. My ex-wife. Not that I'd want her back now. She's been into too much shit, man. Too much, just too much. I don't think I could ever go back to that. But I can't help how I feel. And I'm working on it. But shit, man. Been working on it for a long time. It's not really getting any better, so. Guy Uber, I think you're a prick for talking up Uber the way you did, and then dropping Uber like you did, then disappearing and coming back again and talking so much great things on Uber. You are a prick for that, but you know that. You know that. You're an intelligent man. Come on. You know you're a jackass for doing that. But there's something about you I like, dude. Really, really, there's something about you I like. I think you're a good guy. I think you're depressed. And so am I. You know, so we got that much in common. I hope you get your shit figured out, though. I really do. I mean, I don't know you, but you seem like deep down you're probably a decent guy. And I still say you're in sales somewhere. You just talk like it, man. You should hear me when I'm selling a car. I can sell snow to a fucking Eskimo, dude. Um, I'm good. You're probably better, but I'm good. Anyway, Guy Uber, man, I hope you get it figured out. Pick yourself up. You're going to be all right. Hopefully, so will I. Guys, be safe out there. Uber on.